Going daring. Any other images? Full Psycho. Voidborn are humans bereft in a belly of the void vessel abandoned on an ancient orbital satellite. Those who have lived their lives on void ships become injured to some extent due to the reality-altering process of warp travel and living in low, zero-gravity environments. In many cases, the features are drawn and the skin pallid. They may have minor deformities or a strangeness of the speech, gait, or general appearance that sets them apart from others. Psyches are feed and distrusted, but are nonetheless valuable assets to the Imperium. The role of the Adeptus Astra Telepathica is to recruit, identify, and classify those found to possess psychic abilities. The most powerful who somehow survived the rigorous sanctioning rituals are selected to serve on the battlefield. The mind of a such psychic is steeled against the mindful dangers raised by wielders of war powers. You are one of those found worthy to save humanity and have miraculously survived the perils of the war. Damaging psychic powers count as weapon attacks, counting towards the normal attack limit per turn, and gaining all of the benefits of abilities and talents increasing the damage per attacks. For example, sword using the ramming gunner will be able to use damaging psychic powers twice per turn, and an operative analyze enemies ability affects the damage of damaging psychic powers. What? Psyche of the Sanctity discipline masters the connection to the Golden Throne to support their allies with holy might and stave off demons and heretics. Sanctus concentration phase. Sanctic powers are used by pious psychics to protect allies and smite heretics. And all eyes encircle the 5-star radius gain. Duty of combat. Solving a mystery of powerful, psychically active Xeno artifact, you managed to destroy the creation of countless enemies of humanity. Also crushed a daemon of the arch enemy and drove him back into the world. You are accused of being possessed by a warm entity and forced into exile yourself from Skyland. The officer used their willpower and fellowship to improve the combat capabilities of their allies, turning them into even greater threats on the battlefield. Final class frigate is more advanced and modern design that was developed only 5 centuries ago, but has already proven to be as good as veteran flagship like Sword class.
An excellent place for contemplation. One has the best view of the cathedral from here. Mesmerizing, wouldn't you say? An impeccable manifestation of the God Emperor's sublimity.
A truly awe-inspiring sight.
That is the purpose of all temples to the God Emperor, to inspire awe and reverence. For it is the duty of his servants to persevere in their tireless service until they are presented with a chance to give their very life for the master of humanity. Allow me to introduce myself. Conrad Voigtveer, Master of Whispers, in the employ of Her Ladyship Rogue Trader Theodora von Valencias, at your service. I haven't had the pleasure of speaking with you in person before.
Voigtveer bows his head and focuses his attention on you. My name is Nethys, and so as to avoid any misunderstanding, I am Sanctioned Psyker.
I am aware of that fact. It would have been unacceptable negligence to have overlooked such a detail when compiling your profile. Fate bestowed upon you powers of witchcraft, and a duty to use them for the good of the Imperium. Yours is truly an unenviable lot. I will be frank with you. You may forget your past titles, no matter who gave them to you, or what their origins are. From the moment you and the other candidate were brought aboard this void ship, your fate changed. You now serve Lord Captain Theodora von Valencias, and carry the burden of an heir of this house. Henceforth, you share your dynastic name with Her Ladyship. Bear it with honor.
Why am I on board this vessel? Why have I been brought here?
So that you may fulfill your blood duty. Whatever obligations you had before, they are henceforth null and void. By order of the Lord Captain, you have been requisitioned to serve the Rogue Trader, indeed blessed by the God Emperor. Your former position may have been different from conventional service as part of one of the institutions of the Imperium, but from now on, a different fate awaits you. One chosen for you by the Lord Captain. I advise you to come to terms with this reality as quickly as possible.
Lord Captain, a strange title for the Lady Theodora.
Such are the traditions of the Imperium. Lord Captain is the title that was established in the annals of the Lex Imperialis, at the time when the first rogue traders entered the God Emperor's service, and therefore, it is sacrosanct.
You have curious title, Master of Whispers. What are your responsibilities?
To put it plainly, I am the head of the network of spies and informers who serve the interests of House von Valencias. I uncover weak links both among Lady Theodora's retinue and in the ranks of her rivals. I eliminate our vulnerabilities and exploit those of others.
Tell me about the one on the ship I have found myself.
I would rather not discuss the Lord Captain behind her back, especially not on board her ship. No one knows better than I that whispers are wont to attract particularly close attention. Suffice it to say that her ladyship is the bearer of the sacred warrant of trade and a woman of immense power and entitlement. However privileged your position may be, I ask that you do not incur her anger by being disrespectful or obtuse. Lady Theodora despises both qualities.
You say I'm one of the rogue traders, so there is another candidate?
There is. And you will meet him soon enough.
I assume you had some goal in mind when you decided to seek me out. Let us address it.
But of course, I have come to invite you to a meeting with Lady Theodora. I imagine you have many questions for your patroness, and I'm sure she has just as many questions for you. It is regrettable that you haven't yet had an opportunity to speak. It has been an arduous voyage thus far. The Lord Captain and Master Ethelthrad von Valencius are conversing on the observation platform. Let us join them there.
The sacred mechanism has been interfered with without due to reverence. The duration of the data processing cycle has tripled. Incomprehensible information is displayed on a large screen above the cogitators. You can make out references to unfamiliar systems and world amongst the numbers of logistical symbols. A massive conference table, obviously crafted from the real wood, a resource of incredible value aboard the void ship. A candlelit altar with a copy of the volume of the Lex Imperialis, the Codex of the Sacred Laws of Imperium.
One of the Von Valencius trophy rooms. Perhaps you would like to take a look around after your audience with the Lord Captain.
What's happening? Run! The servitors have gone berserk!
First fight died.
Huh?
First fight.
How?
Just come to me,
Was
like,
that the tutorial fight?
yeah.
How? What?
One hit kills.
You want like ultimate?
No, just hard. Not even hard, just daring. But my fight didn't go very well. I didn't shoot him, forgot to shoot him. I'm doing very well here again now.
What suspiciously poor timing for such an accident. Servitors malfunction on the officer's deck at exactly the same moment when the rogue trader and her heirs are gathered here. I have blocked all passages between the upper and lower sectors of the residential decks. If this is a deliberate attack, it should stop the culprits from advancing their plan.
Spread out, no one is allowed to enter this premises station.
I'm afraid I must remain here. For Lady Theodora's safety, I have to oversee the execution of these orders personally. I hope you will have no difficulty reaching the observation platform on your own. It is just at the end of this corridor.
The windows look into the next room, not outside the void ship. You cannot take out anything through the cloudy glass, only the weak light filtering through from that side. The violet alloy, which upon closer examination turns out to be a handcrafted object. Symbols carved with a primitive tool are visible on the surface. The wires in the servitor's head are still smouldering. It would seem the cause of this malfunction was the short-circuiting of the motive force. Torrential sentry gun constructed with the blessing of the Adeptus Mechanicus, using a standard templates constructed in the manufacturers of Kivaj Gamma. Leman Rus battle tank, recycled and restored by the grace of the God Emperor, the first to breach the capital walls during the pacification of Vortes Chton. A black shard resembling obsidian. If you look closely, you can discern a strange, barely perceptible glow inside the artifact. A massive golden amalgam interspread with sparkling particles. The stone pedestal is no doubt solid, but its surface shimmers and changes hue, as if someone has captured a piece of turbulent sea within the rock. A strange object that resembles sea coral. The porous surface is pitted and a sign that it has been underwater. A grey-green crystal with wide veins. A low hum can be heard coming from the artifact. This exhibit isn't finished. Another symbol of House von Valencia's valor will be displayed here at some point in the future. That is simply irrational, Lady Theodora, says the man dressed in particular garb, his voice tight with tension. His face, half of which is covered by sin skin, is twisted in a grimace of displeasure and disbelief. Assimilation into the trade structure would be political and economic suicide, practically an admission of heresy. The tall grey-haired woman pins him with a gaze, her cybernetic eye flashing crimson. Then suggests an alternate that would satisfy me. I have described the situation, no worse than my seneschal could have done. Make a decision. What will you do with Aeon 6, Eildenhard? Survey the room. Your first impression of Edelhard, who appears to be about 30 years old, is of parchment-like skin stretched over a tighty bundle mass of seen implants and bones. The nervously twitching fingers, the face twisted by a slight tic, and the jerky movements are all sign of some illness or defect that has been taken over his physical form. In stark contrast, elder to Eildenhard, Theodora von Valencia's features appear as if they were carved from marble, eternal and indestructible. Head raised high, proud posture, hand clasped casually behind her back, everything seemed to emphasize the different status between her and Eildenhard. Behind the two of them, you see two more men, one in a grey-haired officer of impeccable bearing who is studying the contents of his data slate. The other is a behemoth, bristling with holsters and baldricks containing all manners of weapons. Theodora, Our second candidate has just joined us. The dry female voice and the powerful feeling of being watched force you to look at Theodora. The rogue trader is looking straight at you, and her gaze, like herself, is predatory and oppressive. Nethys, approach and give me your answer. Consider this hypothetical situation. Iron 6. A new world on the fringes of the Coronos expanse. High seismic activity, regular magma eruptions, metaphoric rock deposit, prospect of large-scale mining. The world is populated by natives who worship some heretical underworld spirits that protects those who offer them sacrifice. Flight of fancy, you might say, but attempt to install all extractors have failed for the second time. The mining crews sent to the planet's surface simply vanish overnight. My question to you is, what would you do with this poisoned treasure? There are ways to confirm whether that is happening of AN6 is witchcraft or not. It might cost several psyches to do so, but it will give us the answer. Theodora smirks. Thorough but presumptuous. It took me a great deal to find one psyche who could serve me well for many years, yet you speak of several. Eldenhard look at you with the warmth of a snake. Suction psyches are rare and valuable instruments of the Golden Throne. Or do you, Nethys, suggest that we use heretics who are an offense to the God Emperor Light? It would be rather careless of you to utter such profany in the presence of his faithful servants. I find your tone most disagreeable, Eldenhard. You will kindly alter the manner in which you address me, or else you will live to regret the consequences. Eldenhard tilts his head. Well, I find your company disagreeable, Nethys, and yet I'm forced to endure such. Eldenhard. Theodora's tone renders him silent. I believe I gave you an assignment on the ship. Explain to me, then, why my senior congregator is still dawdling about the officers' decks instead of proceeding to the middle decks to commence an inspection of the compartments in his purview. I beg your forgiveness, Lady Theodora. Your presence has such a profound effect on me that I well forgot the time. Eldenhard bows ceremoniously and take his leave without sparing you another look. Theodora gaze follow him as he leaves, then she turns to you. So, Nethys, why are you here? I do not know just yet. I hope you will clarify that. Theodora smiles wearily. Clarity. A luxury that few of us can afford. There is a reason why I did not explain all the details of the question I posed to you earlier. Beyond the borders of the Imperium, seldom is one granted an opportunity to enjoy information in abundance. This, however, is one such opportunity. My name is Theodora von Valentius Massimo of Scarus. I am a rock trader in the service of the Gold Emperor of Humanity, and my rights and freedoms are vindicated by a most sacred relic, the warrant of trade, kept aboard this very vessel. Mine is the honor to venture into darkness beyond the Imperium and carry humanity's light where powers wicked and heretical reign and abode death and ruin to us all. It is my decision alone to determine the fate of whatever I find past the bounds of the explored void. Every world I discover, along with all there is to find thereon, resources, people, riches and mysteries, is mine by right. I command millions of lives, rule over numerous planets, and possess fortune that no planetary governor or commander could dream of amassing. And you, Nethys, are one of those with the von Valency's blood in the veins and rightful claim to this inheritance when the hour comes. I am ready to take on this sacred purpose. Oh yes, you would be, wouldn't you? The question is, am I ready to choose you over the rest? You came aboard hours before the rap jump and have not yet distinguished yourself in any way. As things currently stands, I have doubts that you are suitable for the role of the rogue trader. Blood right alone is not enough to earn the high honor of becoming the bearer of warrant of trade. Nonetheless, your abilities and talents may yet prove useful, if not for the role of the Lord Commander, Lord Captain, then for that of the closest ally. Theodora sighs and looks away pensively for a brief moment. Alas, even those responsibilities can at times be so challenging for those who share your blood. Conrad Victvier served me for many years before he made his mistake. Did I hear you correctly? The Master of Whispers is related to you. His kinship to me is most distant, as is yours. Nonetheless, he does bear the name of von Valancius. Even he avoids using it publicly, and such, strictly speaking, he can be considered my heir. That door, however, is close to him. Voigtvier's performance in his current role is satisfactory, or is used to be, at least. So there are more than just me being an heir. Naturally, some have yet to arrive on board, but you have had the pleasure of meeting one of them. Eldenhard may be somewhat disconcerted by the scale of the responsibilities that many may potentially fall upon his shoulder. However, I have a good feeling about him as a candidate. If you're satisfied with Eldenhard, then what's the sense in then having this conversation? What are you wasting your time on me? Theodora shakes her head. Impatience. I'm rather fond of impatient people. They are not as quick to resign themselves to circumstance and more eager to show initiative. Even if you do choose Eldenhard as my successor, I will still require loyal advisors. The skills and knowledge you acquired in your former life may prove inevitable here in Coronis Expanse. It says you in your profile that you bear the brand of sorcery, albeit suction sorcery that is permitted in the service of the Imperium. I am accustomed to the presence of psychics at my side. More than that, I value their unique abilities highly. Perhaps that is why I am so intrigued by Eldenhard's candidacy. A rogue trader psyker could achieve great things indeed. However, psykers are fragile creatures, and as such I would rather have a replacement standing ready in the event that something happens to Eldenhard. However, Theodora smiled slightly. Your courage has made you far more famous than you yourself probably realize. True feats of heroism will forever live on in the annals of the Imperium and bring honor to the von Valancius line. Can I ask some questions? The vox affixed to Theodora attire suddenly comes to life, but all you can hear is untangible noise. Theodora winces, shuts off the transmission and gives you an imperious nod. I have some time before the navigator gives the signal to initiate the void ship transportation out of the warp, and my presence is required on the bridge. Navigator? Translation? Theodora shakes her head. Sometimes I forget that people without direct access to space, to a ship bridge, might not know the first thing about how void ships travel between the stars. Vessels such as this one are capable of leaving real space and traveling into the warp, an otherworldly dimension of cruel and unthinkable forces. By entering it under the protection of the Gala field, we shortened the route to our destination, crossing distances that would require hundreds of years in a matter of weeks instead, sometimes in days or even hours. That is how humanity spread across the galaxy. This is how we are able to build the Imperium, which spans millions of stars. So where are we headed? The Raycard system, the domain of rogue trader Winterscale, one of my peers and rivals. Besides me, 2 other rogue traders exist in Cornus Expanse, and each of them possesses resources comparable to mine. Perhaps you will one day assist House of Vos Valentius in surpassing both of them in affluence and splendor. I set the curse of raid for Raycard on the demand Theodora grimaces. She gives you a stern look, then shrugs. For a very specific reason. Perhaps I shall yet appraise you of the purpose for this voyage, but now is not the time. Well, I'm convinced I can prove myself as a worthy heir. You can stop by not asking questions of this sort. I have no need for sycophants. I will draw my conclusion when an opportunity to prove yourself arises. As for when you will be granted the opportunity, only the God Emperor knows. Well, what are my responsibilities then? Observe, learn, absorb. It will take time for you to find your bearings aboard this vessel, and in time and in your position. Eventually I'll find a post that suits you, as I did in the hut. Until that time comes, consider yourself my aide. Oh, before we finish, there's been an accident, an officer attack. Some servitors went berserk and attacked the crew. Is that so? Perhaps the technomancers were careless during maintenance, or it could be the warp playing tricks on us in spite of the Galar field. Or perhaps there is something to all the stories about the ship being possessed after all. Theodora laughs nonchalantly. The grey-haired officer gives the rogue trader a look of cautious disapproval. Lady Theodora, for the God's Emperor's sake, surely you do not intend to start repeating idle rumors spread about by uneducated riffraff. Enough, Abelard. Such heresy amuses me. Idira eagerly retells me everything she learns from the whispers of her unseen advisors. She turns to you. This ship is 1,000 years old. It has enough hidden nooks, malfunctioning cogitators, and unused compartments to make ignorant folk speak of spectres dwelling inside the bulkheads and plotting against those who yet live. Well, I shall head to Theodora Vox awaken once more. This time you pick up shouting. The Lord's Captain freezes, listening to the Voxcast, then nods and draws a weapon. Disturbance reported on the adjacent deck. Seneschal, if the need arises, protect the new blood. She glances at you. It is possible that the chance to prove your worth may present itself sooner than you may have anticipated.
One fewer target. Reduced to dust. Brace yourself, Abelard.
One-hit kills.
Pain and duty go hand in hand. I took care of this one.
For the glory of the Imperium! Who wants some more?
One fewer target.
Theodora waves a hand in a commanding gesture. Maud, take a team with you and clear the path to the transport line. Do not let single horse survive. The rock trader turns her eyes to you. Didn't bat an eye when the scum burst into the deck. Not bad. I have seen many an officer who panicked at the sight of combat on the upper decks. The false sense of security offered by the position makes them that much more vulnerable to the health relatives of warp travel. She looks at the Vox in her hand, and you can hear its lifeless static. What are your orders? She breaks eye contact with you. Maud has gone on ahead and clear a path for us. If you want to make yourself useful, go after him and see if the arch-militant requires aid. And be quick about it. Conrad Vogtveer lets out a sigh of relief upon seeing you. Thank Providence you are alive and well. Always on time, eh, Conrad? The moment we finished chasing the riffraff around the deck, you showed up. Always just after the fighting's done. You could set your chrono by it. Conrad pointlessly looks away from the arch-militant to you. Maud, pull yourself together. The Archmilitant looks back at you. What? Did the Lord Captain send you to chivvy us along? We are all done here. I'll report right away. Mod pulls his vox from the belt and hurriedly reports on the situation. Master of Whispers, what is happening on my ship? The Voxnet is silent, the Vox Master isn't responding, our assailants have stormed our office's decks, and my Archmilitant just destroyed several more heretics on the way here. Is this a severe case of warp madness? Have some of my crew lost their minds and forgotten who they are and whom they serve? Report. I have not yet received words from the Enginarium regarding any Galif's Field's failures, but communications were already unstable half an hour ago, and now they have ceased altogether. Whatever this cause may be, the consequences are spreading fast. I am receiving scattered reports from the middle decks that and the only voxcast from the lower base are on the way heretical gibberish. Vigviet pauses. That's the madmen have already reached the office decks, suggest that this outage was planned in advance. Perhaps this is now organized mutiny. A mutiny against the Emperor's anointed? Execute the traitors, every last one of them. First we have to confirm that the bridge and the navigator's sanctum are secure. I have the means to do both things at once. Her expression changes as her eyes flash ominously. Theodora looks at Vogtveer. Eldenhard, where is he? I must know if he is unharmed. A psyche aboard a ship that is potentially being assailed by the warp could pose a greater threat to himself and others than a whole army of madmen with improvised weapons. I tried to locate him, but the last thing I know about his movement is that he arrived on Transition Deck 18. Blasted. Master of Whispers, find Eldenhard immediately. Seneschal, locate Tlas and the Sister of Battle. Both are to remain on my side. Archmilitant with me. I must go to my study, and it appears that we might encounter heretics along the way. Nethys, Theodora glances at you thoroughly. If you may, Lord Captain, Vogtveer's voice is soft and cautious. Transitional Deck 18 is at the heart of the disturbance, and if our goal is to bring Eldenhard back, I could use some support. After all, I'm not as adept as directly confronting enemies of the house as the esteemed Archmilitant, and taking into consideration Eldenhard's psychic power, then it's settled. Nethys, fight Eldenhard and bring him here, in whatever state you find him. This elevator, she points at the massive doors, leads to restricted compartments such as my personal chambers in the bridge. Do not let me down, I require you both, do you understand? I hear and obey, Lord Captain. Theodora waves a hand impatiently. Then move out. Maud, come. Vogtveer gives you a nod. Are you ready to head to 18? It is a long walk, and you do not even have proper gear. You had better not fail me. The Lord Captain made it clear that relying on you is fraught with risk. He pales at your words, but you cannot tell if it's because of shame or fury. I see you have quickly earned Lady Theodora trust if she is already sharing her closely guarded secrets with you, but that is no longer relevant. With a pop and sharp crackle, something hits you in the abdomen and you are consumed by unbearable gut-wrenching pain. I promise you a special destiny, Nethys. It's time to fulfill it.
Careful, careful. Be gentle with our guest. He has an important mission to complete during our visit to the Warrant Chamber. And for that, I need him breathing. Oh, you are back with us, I see. Delightful.
Vogdvir, you two-faced scum. You are the one behind this mayhem.
How perceptive of you. I'll help you with the next insight. I need you here for your blood. You have the option to share it voluntarily, or I will squeeze it out of you myself. We are in the anteroom of the Warren Chamber, this void ship's most hallowed vault. There, beyond those gates, lies the relic that gives Theodora all of her power. The sacred Warrant of Trade. Only one obstacle remains on my path to obtaining it. The gates of the chamber are guarded by the Sentinel, an ancient device that will only open the door to a true heir of the dynasty. I expected to do this part myself, but never mind. You will offer your blood to the Sentinel.
Why are you doing this?
Why? Because I am following an order. What is happening on this ship right now has been in the making for a very long time. All that remains is to obtain what my masters sent me for. The Warrant of Trade.
What is this, inbred? Is your blood too thin for the Sentinel?
On the contrary, the Warp's blessing has raised me too much above your kind, Fon Valencius. The Sentinel refused to submit to me. But you can help. After all, isn't that what family is for?
What sorry pathetic excuse do you even have for your apostasy? You sordid, wrenched piece of Gnox shit.
Wretched? What do you know about wretchedness? Theodora's cur! Are you hoping to buy a grain of her indulgence with your blind loyalty? Oh, I know this delusion. But thank the gods it no longer has power over me. Humanity can rot. I no longer serve mortal kind. Once my work is done, I'll make that pompous wench, Fon Valencius, watch as I sacrifice her entire dynasty and commit their fate to the gods. And you will be the instrument by which I will accomplish this righteous act.
The blade flashes in the dim light and drops of blood appear on your palm. For a brief moment you feel nauseous, your head is spinning, and then quiet whispers begin to flood your mind. More and more sources, voices echo of each drowning out of your own thoughts, replacing them with a singular urge: go to the gate, go to the gate, go to the gate. Get out, I'm not your puppet. The voices in your head giggle and mock your desperate outcry. You feel this intriguing influence forcing you onto your feet and making you take a step towards the gate looming in the center of the chamber. In the gate with arch you see Cogitator with a human likeness built into the front panel. As you approach, the torso twitches slightly. This is a servitor, an obedient automaton created from a lobotomized human being. The Sentinel turns its head to you. One of its eye socket lights up with two amber-like irises. Examine the device. You carefully inspect the design of the gate Cogitator. What immediately catches your eye is the strange alloy that was used as a metal for the machine components, some of which are unfamiliar to you. You suspect this might be some kind of Archaeotech relic. The servitator of the gate begins to move. With the screeching groaning of metal, it leans forwards closer to you. Its lower jaws opens with a drawn-out shriek, much wilder than the jaws of a living human could. The servitator mouth is filled with sharp metallic fangs that glint in the dim light. The vid screen to the right of you lights up, showing strings of mysterious symbol in green background. A whisper runs through your consciousness, insisting, demanding sacrifice. The voices that filled your head after Vogdivir and wounded you with his blade did not go away. On the contrary, the source called itself into a tight knot somewhere in the depths of your mind. Place your hand in the sentinel's maw. The sentinel's jaw clamp around your hand, punctuating your skin and sinking into your teeth, into your flesh. A few dark drops fall into the servitator's throat, and immediately you hear humming as the servitator motor starts up and pumps steer into motion. The vid screen on the cogitator flickers. Several long minutes passes, the sentinel's jaw remains closed, and you are beginning to feel sick. Perhaps if you were to lean against the gate, you could catch your breath, maybe even close your eyes and pretend none of this ever happened.
High levels of caustic humors. The subject is in a state of heightened stress. Do you require assistance?
You do not understand where this quiet voice is coming from, crackling like static. It is the sentinel, the cogitator. It is a figment of your weary mind. Whichever it is, you can clearly hear every word. Yes, I do require assistance. Pain shoots through your head and subsides just as quickly. It would seem the entirety coiled in your consciousness does not have the ability to do you any real harm.
Request accepted. Initiating defense protocol.
Well, there is still another way.
Enormous gates match the importance of the thing they protect. The massive doors are made of heavy metal and look impregnable. Let it be known that by my will and by the true words of this document, I appoint this person to be the bearer of the warrant of trade and bestow upon them, to be the paragon of humanity unbroken by adversity, to walk bravely first into darkness, to unite and reclaim what was lost, to triumph over nightmares untold, to hold boldly the reins of fate, to walk steadily the road of thorns.
Escort the child of the house to safety.
What madness is happening here? Who are you? Who addresses me?
Temporary obnubilation following acute stress. Mobile unit of the Warren Sentinel standing by.
Are you the Warren Sentinel?
Mobile unit of the Warren Sentinel designed as a personal escort of the child of the house and a means of communicating with the rogue trader's subjects. Mobile unit standing by.
I need to contact someone, preferably Theodora.
Voxcast frequencies disrupted. Initiating setup. Establishing connection.
In place of the mechanical screeching, the Solvo School Vox projects the voice of Theodora Valencius, distorted and ridden with static, yet still recognizable beyond a doubt. Vox Master, restore communication with the Navigator's Sanctum. I am trying to contact the bridge. If only one can hear me on this frequency, regroup all available forces and head to the upper decks at once. I repeat, regroup all available forces and head...
Communication protocols breached. Signal latency assessment unavailable. Unable to establish two-way connection.
Get me away from here.
Middle and upper decks. Assuming the probability of safe placement in areas of concentration of armed units. Calculating. To prevent unauthorized units from breaching the warrant chamber, preemptive sealing must be initiated. The mobile unit will start executing the received order immediately after the safety of the warrant is secured.
Let's close the door.
Master! What? Whatever are you doing in the warrant chamber? How did you... Throne preserve me! What is the meaning of this?
Conrad Victvia is a traitor. When we parted ways on officer's decks, he stunned me somehow and brought me here.
What?
He intended to take revenge of Theodora for something, and trying to reach the warrant was somehow part of that plot.
Oh, holy God, Emperor! I presume he is the one responsible for the mutiny. And, Master, I wish to remind you that you are to refer to the Lord Captain as Lady Theodora.
Unquestionably.
Saints' blood! And it is small wonder that the heretics are so well organized. I thought his order to seal the passages between decks was his attempt to stop the attackers from spreading to other levels. But now I see the real reason. It was to stop the enforcers from intervening. At least you are alive, and now safe, Master. Alas, I doubt we can afford to look for a compartment to sit out this disaster. You're in a bad way. I can treat your wounds. I have a Medicaid kit with me. And, for the love of the throne, now is not a good time to be walking around the decks without means of self-defense. Here.
I'm at your service. Let me help.
That is a noticeable improvement. Now you're prepared for the trials ahead. The lower decks are teeming with heretics instigating the rabble to revolt. But that is the least of our problems. The ship's enforcers are rounding up the scoundrels and suppressing the resistance. The situation on the middle decks is much worse, although strike teams have already been dispatched there. All communication with the bridge and the engineering bay was lost. So, apart from scattered voxcasts, we have no information to go on. But that is not the worst of it. All these jolts and shaking are most alarming. These are signs that the navigator and the master helmsman are having difficulty translating the ship out of the warp and into real space. I fear that they may have already lost control. We must reach the navigator's sanctum and get a handle on the situation. If we can manage that, some aboard this vessel may yet survive.
What exactly gone wrong with translation?
I am no helmsman. Oh, God Emperor preserve me, navigator. However, I have spent my entire life aboard void ships equipped with warp drives, and I know that portents such as these do not bode well. It could be that the Gellerfield has faltered. Perhaps the Navigator was struck down by warp corruption and is fighting for the last shreds of his humanity as we speak. If we get thrown off course, we will be forever lost in the war. Naturally, we would likely not have long to live in that scenario. But I will not resign myself to such an outcome just yet.
By the way, how did you find me?
You sent me a Vox message. Specifically, a Vox cast on the officer's frequency, which I had the good fortune to receive. You mean to say you did no such thing?
I think the Warren Sentinel may have sent a message. It appeared when I opened the chamber.
Warren Sentinel? The Lord Captain barely ever ventures down to the chamber, and I was at her side only once or twice when she did. And I did not see anything of the sort. The Warren Chamber is an ancient and rather sacred mechanism that the ship's tech priests treat with the utmost reverence. I assume that whatever it is that you did, you must have activated certain processes and caused the Sentinel to awaken. But then, why did none of it happen when Lady Theodora did the same?
I had one of Theodora Voxcasts.
Lady Theodora's. Which one? The last one I received was about the Navigator's Sanctum, and that was a good while ago. In any case, let us hope that the Lord Captain is well, and safely in charge of the ship's defense. In the meantime, we must do all we can to prevent the ship from veering off course.
What can we expect in Navigator Sanctum?
During warp transit, the Sanctum is closed to all who are not involved in traversing the Empyrean. And for good reason. For the Navigator to open their third eye and perceive the way, the Sanctum must be bathed in the energies of the Immaterium. Only a Navigator can withstand such an ordeal. For the rest of us, any contact with the warp is fraught with perils such as loss of sanity, spontaneous mutations, and death.
Okay, for the Imperium and humanity, lead the way, Seneschal.
Come.
A wave of static suddenly erupts from the server skull, and you can make out Theodora words through the noise. To arms, Slayer, son and daughter of the God Emperor, fight the heresy and corruption that threats to consume our home, and with all your might destroy those who have dared.
The Lord Captain is calling her crew to battle, which means the Vox networks are set up for broadcast transmission, not message exchange. Splendid. While the rogue trader inspires proper resolve to fight in her subjects, you and I shall prove that her trust in us is well deserved. Onward!
Close ranks!
Indeed.
Tried and tested tactics are the best ones.
Victory is if I took care of this one.
At your beck and call.
Just a minor
Sucker.
setback. It will be done. Brace yourself, Abelard. I've suffered worse. One fewer target. My ears are ringing.
Damn it! Oh!
So we're in Warren Chamber. We're going to navigate the sanctum.